Okay, there's the SOS. How bad will job losses get with the coronavirus? Could the unemployment rate hit 32%? You know, that's like, 47 million people jobless? Well, Jonathan Bell is an attorney, a labor and employment attorney, and the founder of Bell Law Group, and he is in the know, but I'm not sure I want to know. We're going to find out. Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing fine, but you know what? There are millions of people out there without jobs, and you say the worst is yet to come?
Yeah, I really do believe we're just on the surface here. I feel like there are a lot of people trying to file claims, and they simply can't get through unemployment. So the number is going to keep on increasing. Also, you know, we have certain hotbeds like New York City and certain locations around the country that's just ultimately going to spread and cause a lot of other people to file for unemployment. In addition, you know, the federal government, they extended who could file for unemployment. So you're going to have owners of companies, independent contractors, gig workers, almost anybody could file for unemployment at this point in time, to the extent they can't work. So, I see it on the rise. And I anticipate it might last for a little while we're in like a recovery phase.
Do you think, I mean, when you're talking about 32%, I mean, that's depression, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're around those numbers. I mean, I can't remember any time in history that the United States went through
1929, like you know, but you know, we don't want to go back then again.
Sure. Yeah, but I mean, just to have all businesses closed, mandated, basically some mandated to be closed. A lot of people have to work from home to the extent they can. Schools closed, so you know, even people who otherwise can go to work maybe can't because they have to watch their children at home. So it's getting tougher and tougher out there. And even for the small business owners who are trying and doing their best, it's very difficult. They have these PPP loans that's supposed to turn into grants. They're not getting their money. You know, really not doing what they're meant to do. Like, let me give you for instance.
Okay.
You know, like if you own a gym or a tattoo parlor, you could apply for these PPP loans, but the problem is when you get the money, you have to spend it within 8 weeks. Well, if the business is closed, how are they going to pay payroll for people who are staying home? What benefit is that?
Yeah. Why would they put a cap on 8 weeks like that? Because we don't know if the economy's going to open up in 8 weeks or not.
I think it was a mistake. I don't know why they did that. I mean, for businesses that are continuing, it's great. Really, what they should have done is have those businesses apply and then start the 8 weeks when hold it in abeyance, secure the funds, hold it in abeyance, and when you're ready to start start up again, then you could have that 8 week period or essentially 2 month period for the payroll. But it doesn't make sense for people to apply for it when they can't open. Yeah,
it's amazing because really, I mean, they're talking in terms of small businesses. I mean, mom and pop businesses, that type of thing. It could be 30-40% are not going to open up. They can't.
No, and really the most hurtful thing is for these loans. These mom and pop shops need it probably the most, but the banks, who are the lenders taking in these applications, you can't go through the SBA. You got to go through a lender. To make it easier on them, they're requiring people to have accounts and sometimes even a line of credit, and a lot of these small businesses don't have it. So these are the ones that need it, and now it's not even accessible to them.
Yeah, they're on a shoestring as it is, right?
That's right.
The federal stimulus package, they're talking about bringing in another one, but do you really think... I mean, as much as they can get, the better. I mean, I want people to be helped. But it just doesn't seem like it's going to be enough, you know. And stimulus package, what the heck does that mean? Here's a paycheck. Now go find another job. You can't. There's no jobs out there.
Right. Well, so what they did, firstly, this PPP program was trying to keep people off unemployment, giving small businesses money so they could maintain their payroll. But then you have unemployment, which the government is trying to do something. So what they're doing for every state is they're saying whatever your state gives you, if you qualify for unemployment, the federal government's going to throw in an extra $600 a week until July 31st. So That's good and that's helpful, but the only problem is for people who run small businesses, let's say they have 2 employees, they like one, and the other one, they feel like there might be some performance issues. They actually put the other person on unemployment, and now the person staying home is making more money than had they been working. So the one that's on might get a little upset and would rather be the one laid off. So it's a little strange how in some situations unemployment could pay even more. There's no cap at your salary, which is with this extra $600 a week.
Holy smokes. So the economy, I mean, do you see the economy coming back once it's opened again? And it's not going to open all at the same time anyway, because the virus itself, it started in Washington State in this country, down to California, New York, hardest hit, of course. But each state is going to be a little different, isn't it? Because they're not going to all open up at the same time because they weren't hit by the virus at the same time.
That's true. I mean, unfortunately, I think that we were due for a recession. Obviously, there's always ups and downs in the market and the economy. I think we're due. I think people are naive if they think that once businesses get opened up, we're going to quickly get back to where we were. I think that we will get back, and it's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of struggle for some. But right now we have to focus on health, on our healthcare workers and providers who are on the front lines, and trying to keep people alive and doing this the right way. We got to figure out some solution.
Well, and the other thing is, people automatically think once everything starts opening up, we're going to go back to the way it was. This is just my big fat personal opinion, but I don't think it's ever going to be the same as it was.
I agree with you. Things won't go back to normal. Things will go back to a new normal. I think that people are going to be very cognitive of being close to people, or in crowds, or in an elevator, or at a restaurant. People are going to be acting differently towards someone who has the sniffles. It's just going to be everyone's going to have a heightened awareness to this stuff long after this thing is over. I mean, this is talk about a major change in everyone's lifestyle.
Yeah.
People are going to remember this for a long, long time.
Well, it's like, the games will be played again eventually. Concerts will be played again eventually. But there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be gun shy and say, I'm not sure I want to go yet. And maybe it'll be 6 months or a year before they go. And that means some big hits for anything that have big venues. Don't you think?
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think
I'm being honest. I'm being honest with you, Jonathan. If I could go to a concert, in say the next 2 months, I probably wouldn't go.
Sure.
I'm not sure.
Let's talk about movie theaters. Even movie theaters are having difficulty based on the fact that all these things were so easily accessible at home. So basically they changed the movie theaters to make it more like your house, where they all have these reclining seats. Who's going to sit these reclining seats to sit next to people now? I think that there are some businesses that are going to be hit worse than others.
Yep, and I don't think it's going to take more than 3 months, 5 months, 6 months. It's going to take years to really get back to believe. I mean, people are scared. This stuff is killing us, and it's killing us by bigger numbers than we've ever faced in our lifetime. Yeah,
even the gyms, I think those are going to struggle as well. I think now people who are very much into the gyms like I am.
Yeah,
we're ordering equipment at home, and we're getting used to working out at home. And the fact of the matter is, the thought of going in there and touching something that hundreds of people have touched that day, makes me want to think, hey, maybe. And listen, there's never a good thing when a lot of people die, and there's never a good thing when the economy suffers. But if you do look at these small changes that you could actually make in your life, you're thinking, maybe there are some times I could work from home. Maybe there are certain things that I could do differently that might be beneficial for me in spending time with my family. So, there are things to consider as well as some types of lessons that we've learned in changing our lifestyle around a little bit.
Yeah, but the good old American way. Yeehaw! It's open. I'm going back out again. They're not going to be, now maybe I should wait and be conservative about this. They were still going to the beaches and crowd areas, and it's like, are you out of your mind?
Right.
And maybe they are. I mean, it's the American way. We
Yeah,
want to do
listen,
whatever we want to do.
The frustrating thing is I'm here in New York. I'm in Long Island, a suburb of the city, which is getting hit hard. Not as hard as New York City, but still getting hit hard. And then, I've been doing some radio appearances across the nation, and some of them have to do with states where the host seems a little bit angry because I guess they just haven't been hit and they don't see why they have to stay home. And it's just I don't understand when you look on the news and you see all these people dying and suffering and really and just to be naive about the fact that it's not really hitting your state hard. Unfortunately, my view is I think it's going to get everywhere. It's almost like a fire that can't be put out, and slowly but surely it's going to reach other places. So I think these stay-at-home orders are necessary. I hate to see the economy suffer, and I hate to see people suffering economically, but I think that it's just a necessary thing at this time, and hopefully either they'll find the vaccination or at least they'll come out with some quick testing that people who could test quickly for it, and if they determine if they had it and are over it, or if they don't have it, they could go out and maybe start working and have the people who have some preconditions, medical conditions, or elderly, then, maybe they could stay home. But they'll come up with a solution. But right now we got to act in unity as an entire country, which I think we're doing.
Yeah, but, I got to be honest with you. What are you going to do? Carry a little thing to keep pricking your finger every single day to see if you got it? Because you don't know. People are walking around and they're probably spreading it and through no fault of their own. They don't know they've got it.
Yeah, I know. Let me tell you something. So I have a friend in Italy, and before this started, she was telling me what was happening over there. Me and my wife made a decision before they closed the schools to keep our kids home. We were being extra careful with this whole situation because, I think it was nonsensical to say, well, the kids are not affected, because everyone knows that kids could be carriers. And, unfortunately, I think if we took a little bit more effort earlier on, we wouldn't have the extent of people passing away. But,
well,
at least they came to the right decision eventually.
Even Dr. Fauci, who's been the voice of this thing and the person who's been pretty honest with everybody as to what's going on, although the administration is not real happy with him doing that. But I'm glad he is. At least he's telling it like it is. We got to face facts. Don't try and sugarcoat it, because then when you can't keep the sugar going, you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, that Dr. Fauci really turned into a hero based upon his honesty and his knowledge, and just he has such a calming way, but he gives you the truth that it's not politics. It's just honesty, and I think that's what the country really needs.
Well, he's gotten slapped down pretty good for doing some of that, including saying, you know what, we probably could have saved some lives if we would have started earlier. We started a little on the late side, and anybody who's, has any intelligence at all, or just common sense at all, would say, yeah, we did wait too long. It could have been San Francisco. You got to give Newsom, our governor, credit. He just immediately said, "That's it. We're closing down." And everybody, remember they used to point the finger at him as being a nut job, but he's not, because everybody else finally did it, but it was a little late.
Right. Yeah, listen, I don't think it's a Republican or Democrat thing, because, look, here in New York, we're run by Democrats, and I don't think that they closed it down quick enough based upon the information that they had. Again, the upsetting thing is the fact that it didn't start here. It started in other countries.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're all human beings. If you see how it's reacting in other countries and what's going on there, then you already have a model in place, and you see how this thing could spread. So I don't understand why we acted the way we acted so early on. I'm a layperson. I'm an attorney, nothing to do with the medical field, and I saw this coming, and I said, you know what, my kids are staying home, and we're just working from the house. And
good for you.
Me and my wife are partners of my law firm, and, it's a balancing act having the kids at home.
Oh, I bet.
But thank God for laptop computers and YouTube. It seems to be okay while we're doing our work.
Yeah, it is one of those things. What was their report? I think it was North Dakota, if I'm not mistaken, just closed down a whole meat packing plant. They had, several thousand people working for them, and between 200 and 400 people contracted the coronavirus.
Wow.
And they had, 2 or 4 people dying, and they had to close the plant down. So it's like
Wow.
we're not even close to being out of this. And everybody, and believe me, I'm the kind of person, I love to be out and about. I love to make stops places, and it drives me crazy because I got from the home to the station, from the station home. One stop maybe once a week to do some groceries, and that's it. My whole lifestyle is completely changed because I used to like to, clear your head a little bit. You'd stop at a store, walk around aimlessly, but it felt good just to clear the brain a little bit.
Of course. And the same thing with me and my wife. At least once a week, we would go out, have some dinner, a nice drink, and just relax a little bit. And obviously we miss those days, but we see the significance. But going back to your point of the people working, like these essential workers, like
yes.
these grocery store workers, they didn't sign up for this.
No.
And now they're going in and they're risking their lives, and they're seeing people that they work next to infected, and some of them die.
Yes.
So they're very, very afraid. So the fact that the Senate Democrats are trying to pass in this fourth stimulus package that they get a raise up to $25,000 each, where the federal government's going to be willing to pay them an additional $13 an hour until they reach $25,000. I think is a brilliant idea because these people, they need it. I mean, when they put in their application for a cashier or a stock boy or butcher, this is not what they had in mind. And, they're doing what they can, and I have to give them credit.
And, I mean, look at the doctors and lawyers. These are people on the front line. And it just amazes me, and I bet it does you too, Jonathan, how when they're asked, why are they doing it? Because it has to be done. And they have a calling to do it. I mean, I can't even imagine, what they're facing. And with not enough equipment, they're doing the best that they can, of course, but and they're staying with patients as they're dying in front of their eyes. So because the family can't come in, I mean, this is unprecedented, isn't it?
It's just the reality of the situation. I'm telling people outside of New York, I almost feel in a way it's September 11th, but a constant, because when you're in New York, either you know somebody personally, or or a friend of yours knows somebody personally who died, and that's what I'm seeing now through social media, and people, around the country are just not understanding it, that they're also at risk for this happening in their state. So I just want them to obviously take it very, very seriously and do your part. I mean, everyone here's flattening the curve. I mean, listen, I've witnessed it myself. You got to do it. You got to do it for your own safety, for your family's safety, for your grandparents, for your parents.
Yeah.
It needs to get done.
How do you feel about this? Because there had been some discussion. Obviously, the governors have the last word as to when things will open up. And there are a lot of people saying, well, that shouldn't be that way. The president should make that decision. But that's not the law, is it?
Yeah, my understanding is the law is that it really is the governor's decision, that the federal government could encourage or recommend. But at the end of the day, I really do believe that the federal government should exert some influence, and everybody should be on the same page here. Everybody needs to be on the same page.
Yeah,
that's how serious of a problem that we're dealing with.
I mean, we have how many states, and each state has their own situation and when their timing should be right. You can't just automatically say, because you're in Washington and you don't see what's happening in each state, that everybody should open up now or everybody should do this now.
Right.
No, you can't do that. Again, if the virus would have hit every state at the same time, okay, but it didn't.
Right.
So it's just, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this whole thing. And again...
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. I mean, the issue really is I shouldn't be laughing, but the problem is once they lift these bans and everyone goes back to work, like, this problem's not going to go away.
No.
It's just going to start all over again. So we're just in a very unique time in the country. I mean, at the end of the day, I look at, listen, life for everybody is a chapter, right? Mm-hmm. This is not a good chapter. But every chapter, even though when you're in the middle of it, it seems like it's going to take forever, it'll end.
Yeah.
It'll end and we'll come out stronger, but we have to show some patience and we have to show some resilience and we have to figure out a real plan. And a real plan is not ignoring the problem and going back to work because it's going to have some dire consequences.
Absolutely. And again, on some of these businesses that are going to go under, I understand that the employees are hurting bad. But you can't take blood from a turnip. If they had to close down, they're doing the best that they possibly can. I commend so many of them. They try to keep the drive-through or the curbside and survive and keep as many employees as they can. But again, you cannot fault them. It's not their fault.
Right. That's true. And that's why these government loans and grants, they have them there. They passed the law, but implementing them has just been a nightmare. There's so few people that I know. First of all, almost everybody that I know who has a business applied for it. And out of all the people that I know, remember, I'm an attorney. I get calls left and right about advice and what to do.
Yeah.
Almost everybody I know has filed it. One person has gotten the approval so far. One. That's it. Out of everybody. And now they're saying that they didn't put together enough funds for it, so they're already trying to replenish it. Right now, there's $350 billion earmarked for it. Apparently, it's more than half spoken for, and this program is just a week old. It was just a mess. To be honest with you, the best way to do it, and who knew? You think usually big banks might have a fast track because they have so many clients. It was actually the small banks that were able to get the applications in quick enough and get some loans. So let's see what happens. I mean, this is a nice thing if they could really pay for 4 weeks of payroll to give the people, the small business owners, a break, and then the employees could make their salary. That's a great thing. But if at the end of the day, if it's just talk and there's no real implementation plan, then it's going to fall flat on its face.
And, we always talk about, and the Republican side has always been the conservative side. They don't want to, push up the debt in our country. I mean, this is going to push up the debt in our country that it's going to take decades, not years, but decades to overcome, don't you think?
Yeah, but there's no other choice.
Yeah.
It just what's amazed to me, what makes me amazed?
What?
I just didn't know that we could be so vulnerable. That's my problem. I mean, usually when you read about certain things going on in other countries, you think to yourself, "Oh, thank God I live in the United States. This will never happen here." It's amazing how vulnerable we were to this, and just how seemingly easy. I mean, if someone came here and all of a sudden it spread like this, like wildfire, and all these people are dying, and now everyone's staying at home. It just was so easy. It's just shocking to me.
It's surreal. It doesn't seem like it exists. You sometimes I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm sometimes sitting there watching TV or a movie or, a series or whatever. And for a little bit, it kind of goes away. And then it's almost like a slap in the face when the reality comes back.
Yeah. No, to me, that moment is every morning when I open my eyes, the 5 seconds when you wake up, and you think everything's normal, and just you remember what's going on.
Yeah.
It's like, what a big difference.
Big time. Big time. Now, you have a website, don't you?
Yes, BellLG.com, which is Bell Law Group. What I like to do for a lot of people, whether it be unemployment or small businesses, is on my Facebook page, at Bell Law Group, or my LinkedIn page, I always put free advice. I try to find the information people want to know. I want to help people for free, give out a lot of free advice. I'm constantly posting, 3 or 4 minute videos that people are finding incredibly helpful, whether it be an individual filing for unemployment or small businesses learning about the different loans and grants and different options they might have.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, so again, they can go either to your Facebook page or your website. Both of those have that, right?
The Facebook or the LinkedIn have the videos that are helpful, and that's at Bell Law Group. And then my website just has my information, which you could always reach out to me and call me if you have any questions.
Fantastic. Well, Jonathan, I'm not sure that we solved any problems today, but at least we gave it a shot. That people need to just hang in there. We'll do this together. The one thing that I do know is that it will be accomplished by doing this together and to believing in each other.
Thanks a lot. I really enjoyed the interview, and I enjoy your show. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Jonathan. Take care. You're welcome to come back anytime, okay?
Terrific. I appreciate that.
You bet. Once again, that's Jonathan Bell. He is an attorney, labor and employment attorney, and it's Jonathan Bell, LG Labor Group.com. In the meantime, as I always say, live simply, laugh often, love deeply, and above all else, you dare to dream. Remember, how do you make a dream come true if you didn't have the dream to begin with? Stay well.